And there we go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the show. As you can see, we've got Ken Thompson on tonight, Scottish leader of the ADF Party, Alliance for Democracy and Freedom. Good bunch. We've been interacting with some of their supporters over the past few months and stuff like that. Of course, we've got our Stuart on. Me and Stuart got together a little bit earlier to look at some information we had, which we're going to show, and we will show a video as well. And of course, got Pat on. So welcome, everyone. Don't forget, 23rd of August is our party conference. And if you want to come, you've got to email us. And I have noticed that Pat's emailed alongside me. So party members, you need to email. Anybody else, you need to email. We're not having a party where we're keeping things secret or doing any secret training things. Right? This is a conference about running in local elections, and that's what we want to do. And getting involved in politics and stuff. That's what we want to do. We're not hiding anything. We're not doing any secret anything right like that. That's what we're doing. So good evening, Tommy Trump. So please share everything, like everything and that. We'll put some information up. I've got the ADF website up, which we will put in as we're talking and going in the chat tonight. But tonight it's about abortion, and we're going to talk about assisted dying as well. And you know, my personal thing, what do I think? I've been looking today. None of the religions promote it or anything like that. This is something that, like, it's woke. It's not come from a moral point of view. It hasn't. It hasn't. And if you look at other religions and look at what they say about it, you can see that in it. And we always talk about, like, our morals and our culture and the destruction of Christianity, which is causing this kind of thing. And that's sort of like what I want to think myself personally. But anyway, let's get on it tonight. Let's get over to Pat. Pat.
Yeah, really sensitive subject, this one. It shouldn't be. You know, I can't believe what they've just put through the Houses of Commons to allow. They're trying to force. I don't think it's law yet. Is that correct? It's not law yet, is it? The abortion 1 day before birth, but that's what they're trying to do. They've got through a little bit of it, and it's just surprising that so many of these people voted for it. You know, they got the assisted dying thing as well, so they're like happy to put people to sleep and stuff, and it's just going in the wrong direction. Our society is just obvious. It's obvious why it's happened, because, you know, we've moved away from God, we've moved away from Jesus, and you know, I mentioned just before the stream that we're actually drawing up a policy for introducing referendums on very important issues like abortion, the death penalty, assisted dying. There's no way in the world that 600 people should have the right to decide whether these things should be law or not. But the bottom line is that really we shouldn't even have to have a referendum about it, because in a Christian nation this wouldn't even be debatable, these things. Death penalty arguably, but assisted dying and abortion is just, it doesn't come into the equation. It's just terrible. And I think we've had around 12 million abortions in the UK since it was legalized, and you know, that's a big chunk of the immigration we've had into the country. So 12 million of those immigrants didn't need to come just from that alone. You know, they keep saying, oh, it's good for the economy, we need the people, we're getting older, we need the nurses and this, that and the other. But yeah, it's demonic what's going on. It's absolutely demonic. And you know, you got all this COVID malarkey as well, these jabs, all the people have been jabbed, no one knows what is actually in that stuff they've jabbed them with. Has that made people, has that sterilized people with the jab? It just seems to me that they're just intent on killing humanity, and this is anti-Christian, satanic, and we're a Christian party. The ADF is a Christian party as well, and we need Jesus Christ back in society to take charge of these matters. Shouldn't really even be a debate, you know. We should be following the Bible, and you know, humanity needs a manual, a life manual, and that's the Bible. Simple as that. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to hear everyone else's views, but yeah, it's tragic that this has happened. They've, you know, I'm dead against. I've been dead against abortion all my life. I'm even against abortion for rape as well, because it's not the child's fault. It's you know, you should punish the rapist, not the child. And anyone, you know, any one of these children who was born, they've developed into beautiful human beings, and it just shouldn't be terminated. I just don't believe that. There's some good examples, but I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, I'll hand it over to Ken from the ADF.
Just before Ken gets in, you said about abortions. Now, can we see on screen? Is it there? Yeah. So I'll read it out anyway on screen. So this is off X, and it's site checked. When you go on it on X now, you get a link at the side. It tells. So this is all like factual figures. And 2013, 190,000 abortions. 2014, 190,000. The 2015, 191, 190, 2017, 194. So it's gone up, right? And when it gets to 2021, which is the start of COVID, it goes from 214,000 to 251,000, which is 30-odd thousand increase. And in all them other years, it didn't even do 5,000, guys. And that's pretty, when I look at them figures, it's pretty out there. And that was the beginning of the big C. So what they're doing? What they're doing there, honestly, that's shocking. Everyone should see that's shocking. The timeline goes from 2013, and we can expect, obviously, increase in population. Then all of a sudden, a big jump like that.
Sorry, Ken. Let me just say one more thing. So yeah, I mean, in my lifetime, I've probably been in love with like 5 different women in my life, and I didn't have children with any of them, right? And for all I know, right, they may have had abortions and not even told me. And this is like just disgusting that the man has got no choice in the matter whatsoever, and it's just wrong. So yeah, just wanted to mention that one because, you know, men don't. It's a lot to do with men's rights as well. You know, we've had our rights taken away from us, and yeah, something else I wanted to say, but I've forgotten. But I'll hand it over to Ken.
Could I just jump in before Ken? Because I'd like to add the miscarriage rates. Now, the miscarriage rates are hidden. X and ChatGPT both said the figures are anywhere between 100,000 and 150,000 a year. So if you take that 100,000 at the minimum and add that, the 250,000 in 21-22, you've now got the loss of 400,000 lives. And I'd like to point out that the year before that big jump was COVID. The year the big jump was vaccination year, 2021 to. So I'd just like to point that out. It's not COVID. It wasn't COVID related. You didn't see the jump in miscarriages then. It was in vaccination year. And I couldn't find any figures further than that. Sorry to jump in. Ken, I'll hand it over to you.
No worries. Thanks for that, Stuart. Yes, it's certainly no wonder we're not able to repopulate our country, and the fertility rate is dropping all the time. And obviously, this is a huge part of it. You mentioned their figure of 400,000 in the year. That's absolutely huge. But from my point of view, well, ADF have been billed as a conspiracy theory party, but it's I think there's really no doubt that the indigenous population are already under attack, and it's I think part of the depopulation agenda, particularly to get rid of white Christians, because other people maybe are slightly easier to handle, or I don't know the reason why. But the rise in abortion, the rise in I think the industry, the abortion industry, is huge as well. Body parts seem to be in high demand, and it's really a extremely worrying situation, and it's not doing our country any good whatsoever. Obviously, I mean, really horrific that parliamentarians would vote for the up to the day before birth abortion as well. Cannot believe it. I tweeted out at the time that it was a sign of a sick and a dying society, basically. That's rotten to the core, that would do that, and coupled with the assisted dying as well. It's really horrific that they would do that. And as a Christian myself, certainly I'm totally against abortion. I realise there's some really difficult circumstances at times, and very unhealthy pregnancies or dangerous pregnancies, that kind of thing. But other than that, I would suggest it's not something we should be doing. The party itself, the ADF party, everybody's got a free vote on that, and they would go with their conscience. They're not all strong Christians at all in the ADF party, but most of us are, or a good few of us are anyway, and so we would generally be against it. Most of us would be against it probably. But she's up to each individual. They're representing their community. If they're elected, that's how we treat most of our policies.
Interesting stuff. Thank you very much. We've got Paul Rimmer in the chat. Mighty Paul Rimmer. Good evening, Paul. Thank you very much for being interactive, and thank you, Tommy Trump there. Please share the live and all that lot. I'm just going to put the ADF website in chat so you can have a look at that if you want to. Lots of interesting stuff on it. Don't forget, though, we're a party ourselves. We're looking for candidates and stuff like that, please. There's our donation link. But anyway, email at the bottom if you want to come to our party conference. So, this abortion thing, it is touchy. And I mean, I'm just worried, mate. I'm just worried that with this, what else can they do? And like Pat says, the bill's gone in, and it's like up to 24 weeks or whatever. And like, the woman's dead big, you know what I mean? And then like, I tried to like edit a video which showed it go from big to little in like 24 hours or whatever. But it was difficult, but it's horrible. And our morals have gone right out the window. They really have. If you look at the religions and the Abrahamic religions, they're just not that. They don't promote this kind of thing. They really don't. And Catholicism, obviously, is the strongest of all the faiths on the ways of abortion. But we've got to watch out, right? What it is, people want to blame someone else all the time. There's a bit of a myth going around saying that, like, West Indian and black people, they lose babies more in England. But when you look at the figures, is that these mothers are unhealthy in the first place. Overweightness affects a pregnancy. Underweightness and underhealth will affect a pregnancy. And we just much rather blame somebody else than take responsibility in our lives to keep us healthy, to have these kids. It's simple as. And that's, like I said at the beginning, that's a breakdown of our morals and our culture going away, and everyone throwing themselves to the far end of obesity and abusing things and stuff like that. And I really do see that. So, the figures are really interesting. And what Stuart said then, and that rise in deaths in that particular year was just like astounding, considering none of the other years previously never even rose over 5,000. Less than that. I think it was about 3, the maximum or something. So it's scary figures. But, what do we do? What do we do? We've got to bring our morals back. We've got to talk to people. And, we've got to decide. There's more people in care now than there ever has been, and especially the white working class within the UK, more than anyone. And that's specifically showing you the breakdown of our morals and that, because there's other communities where there's less of them children are in care in statistically. So, you know, we've got to buck up and we've got to do something. Pat?
Yeah, yeah, I missed out a couple of things I wanted to mention. I just remembered them now. Ken reminded me because the indigenous population have had the most abortions, obviously. And I remember a while ago, I tweeted a tweet. There was an advert, and we all know that whenever they do an advert with a load of people in it to promote something, it's not going to be all white, is it? It's going to be multicolored. You're lucky to see any whites in there. But on the abortion advert, it was all white. You didn't get any black people or brown people in that advert. So, you know, it's very evident that there is some sort of agenda going on, and you know, but the thing I ask myself is, I mean, just say they do get this thing through, and it becomes law that they can literally, there can be a woman with a big belly in front of you who's pregnant, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to have my baby in 2 days." And then she'll be able to decide, "Oh, well, I'm going to have an abortion tomorrow." I mean, that is just disgusting. You know, how would we, just say they get that through into law, how would we get it back? Do we have to get enough MPs in there to vote it out again? And then if they can do that, surely that we could do that, like completely banning abortion. You know, why can't we do that? Go back to when it was banned, it was illegal. Because that's what I would like personally. But we do have a policy related to this. But because the population's been brainwashed so much, and so many people think that it is the woman's right to do it, which is a bit weird to say that. But our policy is that it wouldn't be available on the NHS. So we kind of discussed this and came up with a kind of idea that, let's just say it was 12 million abortions that has been had in this country. If all those people would have had to pay for that abortion themselves, I think a hell of a lot of those abortions wouldn't have gone through.
Can I just jump in, please, Pat?
Yeah, one sec, because it's free, and they can just go and get it for free, and it's very easy to get. And yeah, that's our policy. We would take it off the NHS. You would not be able to get an abortion for free. Go on, Stuart.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump in there because I think it starts with education. I only found out a few months before Christmas, where I watched a video, and a doctor, an ex-abortion doctor, it is American, but we follow the same procedures, and he, over a sort of 5-6 minute video, he steps out each type of abortion, and to be honest with it's horrific. So if something like that was brought into our education system along with Christian moral values, you know, if kids, not, you know, teenagers and other people, they know the procedures and the pain and things that can go wrong as well. So I think it starts with education and Christian moral values.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea to introduce some sort of lesson in secondary school for them to see videos and that as exactly what happens with these procedures. And I think that would probably cancel quite a lot of abortions. That's a good idea.
Well, I did send you and John a video, a link on for a chap on YouTube. There's a couple of videos I sent, but that one's very poignant because I think it really hits where the heart is, and it is not nice to listen to, especially the later term.
We can have a listen to it in a minute. Anyway, thank you for joining us, everyone. Please share the live. live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. I also do Fridays, and I'm going to be starting on a Thursday night as well. So please follow. Lots of stuff to talk about later on this week. I just want to let people know that today and yesterday, the Manchester Arena 2 were up. The Manchester Airport bullies were up today in court. So I'm going to be talking about that Friday. Also going to be talking about Ricky Jones, who's up next month. And that's the former Labour councillor who did that live on stage. And then we're going to be discussing Glastonbury. And, you know, the other week we had, what's it called, Populist Party on. And, like, it was saying, I want to ban every stinking flag that's not England. Honestly, I do, after that Glastonbury incident. It's an absolute disgrace that that's gone on UK soil. You know what I mean? And I'm fuming about it, me. I'm absolutely fuming. But we'll get around to that on Friday. But thank you for joining the chat. If you want to ask any questions.
Yeah, I would be in favour of banning foreign flags. I think restaurants and stuff, that should be a law saying that if they want their flag up, they got to put ours next to it on their restaurant or something like that, you know.
Yeah, good idea, yeah.
But yeah, because it is annoying to keep seeing foreign flags on our streets. But do you want to add anything, Ken?
Yeah, just that comment there. The SNP are increasing the abortion rate, and you know that'd be true to form for the SNP. I think they really hate Scottish people.
Yeah, yeah.
They've done us no favours at all. Absolute disgrace. That whole Parliament's just been a mess since ever it was set up. Yeah, they're very. I mean, there's some serious problems in Scotland in the justice system at the moment surrounding a lot of people who are not getting a fair trial, and this is alleged sexual offenders. Meanwhile, we've got rape gangs running rampant. Nobody says boo about it, or it's very hushed up. And if anything like that goes on, it's swept under the carpet. Very lenient sentence. Whereas the Scots are getting absolutely hammered. In a lot of these cases, there's absolutely no evidence. All there is hearsay, and they seem to be banging up right, left, and centre at the moment. So that's a big problem. An organisation called Jim's campaign are highlighting that, and there's hundreds of people who are in the same situation, who haven't had a fair trial, but they're being locked up. So that's on the other side of the thing. But yeah, it's really just a terrible situation, and really unbelievable that such a small percentage of the population voted for this Labour government, and this is what they are able to impose. I've heard that only 3% or something of the population support this.
Yeah.
So why, how can they possibly rush this through? I mean, to me, they're just an illegitimate government. They shouldn't be there. And God knows what's going wrong. People staying at home and not voting, I think, probably got a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah. What about the assisted dying thing?
Right, we'll get 1 minute. We'll get round to that. Let's just play this little video. This is one of the ones that Stuart just mentioned. Then we'll get on to assisted dying.
How long it was after my daughter died that I showed up at Albany Medical Center OR number 9 to perform my first second trimester D&E abortion. I wasn't thinking of it as anything special. This was routine to me. But I reached in, literally pulled out an arm or leg, and got sick. Earlier on I described stacking up body parts on the side of the table. It's not to, gross people out, to use a simple term. When you do an abortion, you need to keep inventory. You have to make sure you get 2 arms and 2 legs and all the pieces. If you don't, your patient's going to come back infected, bleeding, or dead. So I soldiered on and finished that abortion. And I know it sounds, as I said, hard for people to believe, but I'm telling you straight up my experience. After over 1,200 abortions, first and second trimester up to 24 weeks and all the rest of it, and being very dedicated to it, for the first time in my life, I really looked at that pile of body parts on the side of the table. And I didn't see her wonderful right to choose, and I didn't see all the money I just made. All I could see was somebody's son or daughter. And I stopped doing late-term abortions after that.
Bloody hell, John, that's a bit heavy, mate.
I know. Listen, don't thank me. Thank Stuart. But
I
you know,
want
that
to.
guy.
I want that video. I want to tweet it.
I sent it to you on WhatsApp, Pat. So you got that.
Yeah.
Spread that around. See if we can get that in schools instead of Stonewall,
Yeah.
teaching our kids that they need to be sexualised at the age of 4.
Yeah, that is heart wrenching watching that. It really pulled my heartstrings. That did, I tell you. Wow.
So anyway, so we want to get on to assisted dying, but I want to tell you a little story first. I've just looked after my mum. She passed away in October, God bless her soul. And 3 years ago, because they couldn't feed her, they give her a palliative care pack. Now, if anyone has any medical experience or nurse or NHS, you'll know what's in a palliative care pack. And what they want you to do is stop feeding my mum and stop drink. Well, reduce drinking, but definitely stop feeding her. So this is over 3 years ago. She only died in October. It's well over 3 years, about 3.5 years ago, to give her that first pack. I came home, I researched into it, and then I put it on top of the cupboard, and it stayed there. They give her another one about 18 months ago, but my mum still outlasted a year. You know, she wasn't in any pain or anything like that. And I haven't really publicly said this, but honestly, if we would have left it to them and not had control over my mum, they would have killed her. They would have killed her. And I've been honest with everybody. I've more or less documented all this. I've gone onto Facebook, talked about it and all that lot. And, you know, like, I just looked after my mum, and I just feel so bad. And that's not even assisted dying. That's them, like, just quickening the death. You know what I mean? So these subjects are very emotional for me, certainly, coming from a big family and all the grandkids and all that we've got. And then looking after my mum and this assisted dying. It's emotional. It will be for a lot of people. Pat?
Yeah, I mean, it's just shocking that they brought it in, all this stuff, assisted dying. My dad passed away about 3 years ago, and I think that they deliberately took him away from us with the Dlive thing. He had 3 jabs, and then he got COVID 2 weeks after the 3rd jab. Got COVID, and I wasn't in the house at the time, but my mum and my sisters panicked because he said he was having trouble breathing. They rushed him into hospital, and he didn't come out. He went on a ventilator. He came off the ventilator, and they said he was improving. And then all of a sudden they said, "Oh no, he's gone bad again." I looked at what medication he was on, and they put him on that Dlive, and they said he got pneumonia and died. And they just don't value life anymore, do they? That's the bottom line. And poor Craig, who was with the party before, they tried to kill him, didn't they? With taking the water away from him. What's it called? That process again?
Palliative care was one.
They got some name for it. I can't remember what it was, because he went
Liverpool Pathway.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
because he went on Jackie Devoy's show and all that to talk about it. And God rest his soul, Craig. He passed away as well. And they just don't seem to want to save people's lives anymore. That's what it sounds like. I mean, but you know, I think you can get put in prison for killing an animal, like a pet or something now. Do you know what I'm saying? So
they looking at the criminalised side of it, both with abortion and assisted dying, they want to remove any criminal aspect of anybody who may partake in that. So your doctors will be able to do it, but they can't be done criminally. But with the restrictions and things they've taken out, so if my sister was in hospital and had a mental problem, they take away the family's right to get involved in the protection. So if I was my sister's next of kin, I'd have no rights to taking them away. I couldn't say, don't euthanize her, she doesn't know what's going on. They decriminalise it so you can do that. To the same with the abortion, they've removed the 1929 Infant Protection Act. So that protecting a baby has gone. You know, and the same with assisted dying. They're taking away the criminal element of it as well. So, and some of the things they've taken out are horrendous. All the parental rights. There's some parental rights gone in there as well. So it's demonistic. It's criminal, and it's like they're killing you at both ends. And then with the jabs at the moment, they've had a big surge in the 40 and 50-year-olds, so they're now getting rid of you in the middle.
I noticed recently on that bill, one of the points that they were making was that if you try and dissuade somebody from, wanting to end their own life, then you can be quite a hefty fine through the court, or prosecuted through the courts for that as well, for trying to dissuade somebody, which seems unbelievable. But there's a lot of horror stories, coming out of hospitals. A lot of people, I think, are experiencing the same thing, where their loved ones, their parents, grandparents, are being basically put down like dogs, just basically bumped off in hospital. And the hospitals are really in a bit of a bad state. You don't seem to have the people there that are caring. They don't seem to go into the profession because they have a vocation for it. I think the training, a lot of instances, is pretty bad and woeful. We don't get any training on, I've heard recent vaccines. There's no training on them, how they work and what's in them. And also there's some serious issues with you can't sue the hospital. You can sue the hospital, you can go through the process, but it never goes to court, it never goes to a judgment. They'll always settle. So that's one thing. Another serious issue with the hospitals is, apparently recently, there's a girl on Twitter, Michelle somebody. She was claiming she was raped in hospital, and I think somebody did a Freedom of Information recently and found that there was hundreds of rapes and not a single prosecution. So the hospitals are really, they've lost all purpose, really, haven't they? They're not caring for people. They're letting people down right at the centre. They might do the basics. Maybe they get some of the serious stuff like heart surgery right, but the general care just seems to be lost on them for some reason.
Well, there was the Liverpool pathway that was a scandal. What they did, they took that and renamed it NG for Nurse Guidance 163. And a lot of people pulled up on it. So they rescinded that and turned it into NG 191. Changed the order of things very slightly and put it all back in place. End of life care, which is torture. It really is. Especially
aren't they supposed to swear an oath to try and save people's lives and stuff? And
Hippocratic oath, do no harm. First, do no harm.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
So, Stuart, let's just get on to something that Stuart brought up earlier on. So, there was loads of amendments in the assisted dying bill. We've got a list of all the MPs, but there's so many amendments. Let me just show you now. I'll just show you 1 sec. I'll have it up in a tick. So that's loads of amendments. I'll just go through some of them. I think, Stuart, do you want to say anything first?
Well, to be honest with you, my screen's far too small to see on that. But if you want to pull out a couple of the important ones, and then I think it would be worth showing if you've got it downloaded, is the short description of each of the what's now called donor brain death and donor circulatory death, where it's debunked that that's a way to tell that somebody's dead, because a lot of people have been waking up. They've been all prepped, done their walk of triumph, you know, thank you, you're giving your life to someone. And there's stories of people fighting to get the tubes out and fighting the nurses, and then they've been sedated. So I think, you know, once you go through a few of these, it might be worth looking at that, and our guidelines, with NHS ones that I sent you, because that marries up with the donor brain death and donor circulatory death. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, it's mad, these amendments. Let me just tell you one of the amendments, right? So this is what we have to do so people don't like abuse things. So Amendment 61, to exclude those who might choose euthanasia due to financial hardship. It should never be an amendment that. It should be unquestionable that you're never going to do that. You're never going to ask to be euthanized for financial hardship. But, you know, there's a load of them, and they are quite interesting, some of them. And they impose things. And, like, if some of these amendments weren't in, the things it could do is just unbelievable. But, you know, like, it's just madness. And this is going through now. It's got to go to the House of Lords now. And normally, a lot of the time, bills get passed because so many people voted for them. I can't see it being rejected, in the House of Lords. I really can't. So that's what we've got to look forward to. But, you know, it's interesting. And these are all the proper amendments for the bill. You know, you can look into it yourself. They're easy to find online and have a look in a bit more detail. But we just wanted to, like, make you aware of the information that we're looking at and stuff like that. But it is all bona fide information, this that we're talking about. But
it's removal of safeguarding. So all of these things have either not been even talked about, and some immediately rejected. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then if you go to donor brain death and donor circulatory death, it's been debunked. People have woken up after being told, yeah, he's dead, whip him into the theatre, and people have woken up, even when they've been cut. But our guidelines, the NHS guidelines, closely follow what. Have you got the video, John?
Yeah, I have. Bear with me. I'll carry on talking. I'll get it up in a sec.
Yeah, I think that was the last one I sent you. Well, I might have sent you one since then, but it was a Dr. Byrne or Byrne, something like that, B-Y-R-N. Yeah, so all these safeguards they've removed, and some they've not even considered. It's just removing all those safeguards is making it very, very easy. And if people want to really know the slippery slope, look at Canada. They started, I think it was 2015-16. Last year, they had over 15,000 people euthanized, some because they were poor, some because they were disabled, some because they were COVID jab, some because they were prisoners, which is one of the safeguards that has been taken out of the amendments at this end. So it starts with, it's only going to be for those who are terminally ill and we can't do anything for them, pain's too much. To right down the line, I think it was last year, after a year-long battle, a Canadian father of a 25-year-old autistic woman that not only was he parent, he was also legal guardian and carer. she walked into a hospital one day and said, I want to end it all, I'm depressed. So they were going to carry on and do it, but he fought it in the courts. They took away all of his parental rights, all of his legal guardianship and careship. And on the day that the judge made that decision, he went straight from the court to the hospital to say goodbye to his daughter. He arrived at the hospital and they said, oh, we're really sorry, we've already done it. So it's disgusting what they did to him, but that's what they've got planned for us. It is in their plan. It's part of the UN agenda. It's absolutely horrendous. And when you find out that brain death is certainly not death, even circulatory death is not death, and the times that they wait from death to giving away organs or cutting you open has gone down in time that they wait before they go, right, everything off, cut them open. It's absolutely disgusting. I know in America there have been certain doctors that have been done for selling baby parts. Planned Parenthood in America, which is like our family planning clinic, have been known to do it because they do on-site abortions. So it is a massive, massive business, organ harvesting of pretty much every age up to middle age. So yeah, it's disgusting. Sorry, I'll stop yakking and let somebody else talk.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you. Thank you to the chat. Please like, subscribe and share and all that lot, please. If you're new to the channel, thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow any of our links in the description, our party website's up there, but I think, hang on. Yeah, I've got the link here to our party website, so I'll put that in the chat. And if you're interested in us, email us, please, guys. Email us. I've already put the AFD's link in as well. They are active running in elections. And before Ken, I know somebody connected to him who's from Oldham. We've already had a meeting. And Pat's been talking to a couple of the members as well. So very interesting. But yeah, it's serious moral issues, guys. Honestly, it really is. We need to get that faith back in us and get that community back. So let me see, how long's this video, Stuart?
It's not very long, John.
Right.
It's just not. It tells you on a blue screen what the doctor's about to tell you. Gives a short clip, and I think there's 3 clips altogether. Short,
Right,
fairly short.
Here we go. We'll get it on. Plenty of time. We'll get it on.
How did I start to study this subject? This baby, Joseph, was the one who started my study. Joseph had flat brain waves while he was still on the ventilator about 5 weeks after his delivery. We didn't take his organs. We didn't turn off his ventilator, even though his brain waves were interpreted as consistent with cerebral death. That's what was written on his chart. It did not make sense to me. So we continued to treat him. This is Joseph when he's about 7. And when Joseph went to school, he got straight A's, excellent grades. He ran track, he played baseball. This is Joseph as an adult and married, and they since have another child. So they have 3 children. Between 68 and 78, there were more than 30 different sets of criteria. Each set tends to become less strict than the previous set. The Harvard criteria in brain death is abbreviated in the literature these days as DBD, donation by brain death. The criteria became changed in several ways, but one you can readily understand. The Harvard criteria required 24 hours of observation. They shortened that time from 12 hours to 6 hours to 3 hours to 1 hour. And there's one set of criteria in the literature that they take them off the ventilator for 30 to 60 seconds. And if there is no evidence of breathing, that's considered sufficient for the declaration of brain death. The things have evolved to what's known as DCD, donation by cardiac death. What happens in those patients is they are not brain dead at all by anybody's criteria. But what they do is go to the relatives to get a do not resuscitate order, a DNR. And then they take them off the ventilator and they wait till they're without a pulse. Not until the heart stops. Not until the heart stops. The heart's still beating. They wait until there's not a pulse, that they don't record a pulse. How long do they wait? They have shortened that time down to as short as 75 seconds, 1.25 minutes in two babies in Colorado, where they took them off the ventilator and then after 75 seconds, proceeded to cut out the heart and transplant it to someone else. And then there is this thing called the apnea test. The apnea test is not a test for sleep apnea. That's the first thing. Strike that out. A lot of people have tests for sleep apnea, and you have friends or maybe even yourself that has sleep apnea. So it's not a test for sleep apnea. But what's the apnea test? It's part of every declaration of brain death. You cannot declare brain death unless they do the apnea test. Well, what's the apnea test? Well, the patient with the head injury that's on the ventilator is pushing the air in 15 times a minute. So every 3 to 5 seconds it pushes the air in. So the apnea test is they take away that support of the vital activity of breathing. They take it away. And remember, the person is getting it every 3 to 5 seconds. And so they take it away, not for 10 seconds, not for 30 seconds, not for 1 minute, not for 2 minutes, not for 5 minutes, but for 10 minutes. They suffocate the patient. And they suffocate the patient, and when they do that, the carbon dioxide goes up. And when the carbon dioxide goes up, we know that makes the brain swell and makes them worse. And they do this every time they declare somebody brain dead. And you need to know for yourself and your relatives, no apnea test. No one should ever get an apnea test. It's a test that's not done for the good and the health of the patient. It's done to declare them brain dead so they can get their organs.
There we go, another quite powerful video there from our Stuart, bloody hell. But you know, I believe it. We talked about that Liverpool pathway thing, and if you look at Jackie Devoy, we've had a few.
David Cartland. Dr. David Cartland.
And we've had a few on the show, and that Liverpool pathway place has always been highlighted. You know, it's deadly. I told you my little story, and if I would have gone along with that, I would have lost my mum a couple of years before I did. And she wasn't in any pain when she passed away or anything like that. So, you know, it's really powerful stuff, and it's really opening my eyes to how we treat people in the UK, and they're just not treated morally. They're really not, and it's scary. Over to you, Pat. Last 5 minutes, guys.
Yeah, it's just incredible that things are getting more and more sinister. Like they're closing in on you to get your organs. It's like creepy, man. It's like really worrying. You go into an hospital and you think you're in good care, and you know. I mean, I've got to be honest. I went and had an operation on my shoulder, some keyhole surgery, and I was a bit uncomfortable because they was going to knock me out, and I just thought, I'm with 3 people. I don't know what they could do anything they want to me, you know. But yeah, it's very worrying. That what's it called? What he said that thing was? Don't ever get a
It's an apnea test.
Apnea test. Yeah, watch out for that one. Bloody hell. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't find any legislation in the UK for the apnea test, but for the other 2, I did. If John could put those 2 sheets up with the red writing, just so that the viewers can and myself can look at it on a bigger screen, because it denotes what they do to get people's organs, and it does state on there, as the doctor said, they'll sedate you.
Yeah.
So that they can take your organs, and there have been cases, even one recently 7-8 months ago, where they were going to take a young lad, and he literally, the woman signed the papers, and the young boy literally woke up as they were about to wheel him off, and they had said, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, I mean, we're a Christian party, and we want Christianity reinstalled into society, because the bottom line is the reason these things are happening, assisted dying, abortion, this organ stuff, like in China they're doing it a lot, yeah, and we all know China is an anti-Christian country. It's anti-Muslim as well, because they're communists. They don't believe in religion. I'm not in favour of Islam. Islam's a false religion, but the reason we're in this mess in this country with all these things is because we've moved away from Christ. There's no 2 ways about it. And we need to spread the good word of Jesus Christ, the love of Jesus. And, everybody is unique, and everybody is, deserves to live. So, that's my bit to the conversation. Just to remind people that we do need leafleters, candidates. We've got 6 hopeful candidates next year, myself included. My campaign's going very well. We're going to need a lot of leafleting in London for the London elections next year. We want more candidates. The big thing is the LTNs. They're trying to shut us down, taking our freedom away. You can join the party, £22 a year online, nationalhousingparty.uk. It's £11 a year if you're unwaged. Just donate to us if you want to stay in the background and you want to help, to buy leaflets, etc. Leaflets cost money. But everything's going well, and I've had quite a few renewals recently, and I've been doing a lot of activism in Grimsby. Just done an election in Rugby, done lots of leafleting in London, and we're preparing other awards in the West Country. So everything's going well, and that's my last words. Thanks for watching. Thank you.
Stuart?
All I'd like to say to people is please do your research. The stuff that we've shown today is all checkable. Even on YouTube, you can find several videos of news reports and the actual person talking about their experience of being close to having their organs taken after they've been pronounced dead. Yeah, do your research. Look at the stuff we've put up. It's all checkable. Thank you very much for listening. And yeah, donations would be good. Over to you, Ken.
Yeah, seems to be that the Hippocratic Oath needs to be put back in place. You know, do no harm. First, do no harm, and that's the main message. I think it seems to be lost on the NHS and a lot of the staff at the moment. So that's what we need. Thanks very much for having me on, guys.
Right,
Thank you,
thank you, Ken. Certainly get you on again. Maybe I don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll definitely
On
get
this
you on
morbid
again.
subject.
But yeah, thank you very much, panel and all that lot. Serious stuff tonight, man. Serious stuff. And you heard, Pat, we've lost our way. We've lost our way. We've lost our morals. Our very essence is being eroded all the time. That makes us who we are. And the world was a lot different just 50 years ago. Families were a lot different than they are now. But like I said, I believe a lot of it's this kind of woke thing and stuff that's really affecting our society at a young level because of the relationship, sex education and stuff like that they're having in schools. Maybe we should be talking about that next. But thank you very much. Please subscribe to our links and that. I'm live Friday. It's a bit hardcore Friday, but I am live Friday. We're going to be starting up some other lives soon. I'm taking part in my 3rd reboot course, and we want to start a reboot stream talking about the trauma course that we're on. You know, on Friday I'll go into a lot of things that's happening on that trauma that I think is affecting me, and we'll go into a bit more detail. But thank you very much, panel. Thank you very much. Last goodbyes, guys.
Thank you very much. Oh, John, what time is the live stream Friday?
9 p.m.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thanks again for having me on, guys.